Hello and welcome for tuning in today. Uh, Thank you for tuning in today. Today I'm going to be talking about manifestation. And if I keep looking down, it's because I've got notes here on what I'm going to be talking about, just to help myself get the message across, hopefully clearer than it would be without. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about manifestation, and I'm going to be comparing Dr. Joe Dispenza's method and Neville Goddard's method, and hopefully you guys can see that the things that these people are talking about, people from years ago, people who are currently in the space now, they're all talking about the same thing. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Joshua Henson. It's the name of this YouTube channel. And I believe that my purpose is to spread information and ideas on anything and everything. Ideas that will hopefully help anyone who tunes in make better choices in their life or have a more educated point of view. And when I say anything and everything, I talk about anything will be talking about anything from numerology, astrology, money, physicality, nutrition, so many things. I'm interested in so many things, and at the end of the day, the goal of this YouTube channel and the videos and the content that I create is simply to add value. End of story. Okay? Glad I got out of the way. Now, here's my premise. What if the life that you're dreaming of already exists and you're just not tuned into it? Okay, frequencies. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches us how to access what he calls the quantum field. Okay? And Neville Goddard says that you must live in the end. What do they have in common? They both point to this truth. You become what you believe you already are. That's simple. Now, what most people get wrong is, number one, manifestation is not just wishing or visualizing something and then waiting. Just putting out a thought into the earth and thinking, wow, it's really that simple. I can just change my life with a thought. Yes, but not quite. Most people, when they are trying to manifest, their identity is that of a person who doesn't have what they're trying to manifest. Whether it's, monetarily, it's internal, external, they're still identified with a previous version of themselves. It'll all make sense as you listen through. Now, the law of attraction, which is what Neville Goddard calls it, isn't about asking the universe. It's about shifting who you are to match the energy of what you're trying to get. So, for example, if you're trying to attract a healthy body, you shift into the personality, emotional state, physical state of someone who is living your perceived, manifestation. Someone who's healthy is someone who is a bit more food conscious, takes care of their decisions, You're starting to get into what it would feel like, really, if that dream was already a reality. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's a quote by Neville Goddard. Now, the bridge, where Dispenza meets Neville Goddard. Dr. Joe Dispenza's perspective is that the quantum field, which is this, it's unseen, obviously. We're talking about the mechanics of the universe that operate beyond us. A lot of this stuff that we talk about, manifestation, it requires you to think outside the box a little bit, and sometimes if you're not familiar with esoteric concepts and like subtle vibrations and the astral realm, these are all like in different realms, dimensions, that kind of thing. if you understand me. Now, he believes that the quantum field responds to your frequency. And it's a fact that each thought that goes through your head is buzzing out of your skull into your surroundings as a vibration. Now, that's what he's calling your frequency. But even more than that, your frequency is the kind of thoughts that you're really allowed to have at any one time. It's like more of your thoughts are consistently a 7 out of 10 rather than a 5 out of 10 kind of thing. Okay, so what we're saying is your thoughts send the signal out and your emotion brings it back. Now, when you feel lack of the thing that you're trying to manifest, whatever it is, you reinforce lack. And when you reinforce a feeling of possession or fulfillment, mentally, emotionally, physically, in the ways that you can, you reinforce and attune into an abundant state. Now, I'm very careful. I like to be very careful. This introduction video, it's just to get the idea out there. It's to get someone, whoever watches this video, just in touch with this idea. I'm being very broad on purpose because I think that when some people hear certain types of language, it can kind of shut their mind down because it challenges ways that they think or perceive currently. And I really want to avoid that. I really want to get across that these are just ideas and there's no harm in considering ideas at first. Okay. Now, Neville Goddard's perspective is, so everything that I just said just before, when I said when you feel lack, you reinforce lack. When you reinforce a feeling of possession or fulfillment, that whole part, all of that was kind of the scientific Dr. Joe Dispenza kind of thinking. Now, Neville Goddard's perspective is your imagination is God. Now, we don't need to get into what is God, why is God, all of that, that kind of train of thought. That's another video. But I do believe my understanding of God in this situation is I believe God to have an archetype or like infinite creativity, right? God can create anything he wants out of anything. Now, when you think about the human intellect and consciousness, humans have that very same ability. They have infinite creation. If you sat out in a field and for the rest of your life, you could rearrange grass you could never run out of ways to rearrange a few blades of grass. Now, I know that's a very poor way to explain it, but the point is, there's just no bounds to what humans can create. And funnily enough, I was talking to a friend who told me about the Tower of Babel from the Bible. Now, I'm not too familiar with the Bible, but there's this one bit that he spoke about that said, humans, like they were creating this tower that was supposed to go to heaven. I'm going to butcher this, but I think I'll be able to get my point across. They were creating a tower that goes to heaven, and God said something along the lines of, I know that humans have infinite creativity, and when they set their mind to something, it will be so. So he destroyed the tower. Don't know why, can't remember the conversation, but that's, another example of like a signal to the fact that humans have this infinite creativity, which I believe to be akin to some God, Next, he thinks you must live from the end. Feel as though it's already done. Okay? So living in the end, one meditation or way that I used to, and still do, perform Neville Goddard style of meditation. And once I explain a little bit about both this Dr. Joe Dispenza's method and Neville Goddard's, you'll kind of see the relation and why they're all talking about the same thing. But he said to play it out in your head, whatever you are dreaming of, as if it's already happened. And And you need to be vivid in the mind. You need to like feel it. What does it feel like when you get that notification and that money's just popped up into your account, or you've just stepped on the scale and you see that goal weight, or you see like significant progress towards it, and you feel what that feels like, you know? And personally, when I've done this many times, I've often found like I walk away with this huge smile on my face as my eyes are closed and I'm meditating. And you just feel it. And it feels so good. You can really get to a place where you're in ecstasy because it just feels like it's really happening. But then you'll come back, you'll open your eyes and you'll be like, oh, look around. Well, it's not here, so it means it's not happening. But, you know, the senses are a lie. They often lie to us. Now, he also says the world is a mirror reflecting your dominant state. So to connect these two ideas together, Dispenza and Neville Goddard teach this science my apologies. Dispenza teaches the science of neural conditioning. Goddard teaches faith in unseen reality. All right? But they both agree on that you have to become it now in consciousness. One of them is explaining it in a purely or heavily aided by talking about it in a scientific way. And the other is talking about it in a way that's more spiritually inclined in terms of vocabulary and how they're getting their point across. But ideally, they're talking about the same thing. You have to feel it before you reveal it. Now, a lot of people have trouble with that. You have like people, including me in the past, but don't get me wrong, I've manifested many things in life. I can share a few stories on that if you'd ever like. Anyone watching, or we can talk about it in the comments, you can DM me, whatever. But I've seen it happen. And once Neville Goddard has this really cool quote where he says, your job is to decide where you want to go, and then it's God's business on how you get there. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay? And it really is that simple. You have to feel it before you reveal it. And Dr. Joe Dispenza is now explaining the science behind that. He says that every thought leads to an emotion, and an emotion leads to a chemical reaction with the body. And after you do this enough times and you're consistent and you really start to get into it, your body is chemically changing almost down to a cellular level because you're feeling like you have that thing. Now, that's not where it ends. You have to remain single-pointed. You have to know what you want, visualize it, feel it, chemically let that change in your body, and then you'll notice that the only barrier to entry to that vision now is time. But your actions, you'll find over time, will start being more inclined to that end goal that you have. You will start doing actions that will naturally lead to that. And then people say, okay, well, that's just me working to that dream. Well, yes, that's a prerequisite. It's not just going to arrive. Like, I don't buy a Betty Crocker cake mix and then expect to just slide a cake out of the box. You know, you've got the cake box, and then you need to add an egg. You need to do a few things to help that process along. But ultimately, you saw it, you had to help it, ate it, but your mind was focused that whole time on making that cake. It's a silly example, but it's actually not, you know? So how do you practice this? Well, here's 3 simple steps, okay? Number 1, you need to enter the state of the wish fulfilled. Sit in meditation or stillness, okay? And you need to imagine your future self, like I've been saying. What they feel, what they think, and what they believe. Like a movie. I used to do a 30-second snippet in my head where I would really have like this moment where money has just been transferred into my account for something, right? A business or a YouTube channel or a coaching client. And by the way, I will be offering coaching in the near future, in the next 2 to 3 months. But more on that later. Okay, so we're going to sit in stillness, meditation, and you're going to play a little 30-second movie out in your mind. And during that movie, something needs to happen. You need to feel as if you've had it, or you just got notified that it happened. And in every single way possible, ideally through all the senses in your mind, feel that it happened. And really let that beauty and that excitement just overwhelm you, honestly. Let it be as intense as life, as close to as it really, really happening right now as it can be. You just really embody and feel the surge of emotional pleasure. Okay. 2 is we break the addiction when we're not, the addiction to the old self, when we're not in those meditative states. We got to understand that identity is a habit. It's the things that we do every day that we start to really identify with. This is who I am. And this is who you are because this is what you're doing every day. This is who I am. Okay? Let go of complaining, doubting, or waiting. Now that one is a lot harder said than done, but it's true. You don't want your reality, and I say that very carefully, that word. You get lost in words. Reality, don't get lost in that word. Your reality, your current physical reality, don't let it confuse your vision. Your vision needs to almost be, you need to believe in your vision more than you believe your surroundings, okay? So don't complain about where you are. Just know that as long as you keep your vision in your mind's eye and you're constantly reaffirming that, it will be coming to you. It's just what happens. When I'm driving somewhere, and I live in Australia, when I'm driving somewhere, if I lost my focus about where I was going, I would end up in a completely different area, right? I took a wrong turn. You need to understand that just because you're not, so I'm driving from Sydney to Melbourne, just because I'm not in Melbourne yet doesn't mean I'm not going to get there. That faith, that vision needs to keep you going. And what's your language? Language, I'm very big on language, and I would love to do more videos on that. Self-talk and your reactions to things. It's really about understanding that vision, once you've got it in your head, once it's fleshed out, it's coming. Time is the only barrier. And you just got to keep adding little logs to that fire. Keep acting as if that's you. Now, if your goal is to be a millionaire, you're obviously not a millionaire yet, but what would you do? What are little things that you would do in your day? Would you really wake up and go for a run because you know you can, and you want to take care of this body, and you got money in the bank, and it's okay? And what are those little things? Start to put little things into your life. How would you act? How would you think? How would you feel? And just start doing that. Okay? And number 3 is surrender. But you need to stay, like I've said, in the state. You surrender to your surroundings. Don't check on it every day, okay? And live your life as if it's already done. Trust the unseen. This is faith, okay? It really is that simple. And I think a lot of people have trouble with manifestation because it is so simple. It sounds woo-wooey to some people, but if you're watching this video, clearly something's not working for you. You feel like the things that you want aren't coming to you how you want them or at all. Okay? Manifestation is this simple, guys. It really is. Now, I'm going to end this with, a call to action. All right? For the next 7 days, please act, feel, speak as if it's already yours. Speak from that version of you. Think from it. Feel from it. And I promise you, Maybe your dream won't manifest in the next week, but it's got to happen in here, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, before it happens outside, okay? The outer world is just a reflection, right? Change the projector and the screen will follow. I hope that was helpful. I hope it introduced you into manifestation in a way that wasn't too woo-woo-y. And I really tried for simplicity here. I really tried to give you guys, hopefully, an introduction into manifestation if you've never heard of it, or also, hopefully, in the way that I've personally spoken about it and shared it, hopefully that resonated with you and helped you understand it a little bit more, okay? Thank you for watching my YouTube video. I'll be posting 3 YouTube videos a week on topics like this and others, and I'll be doing 1 live stream a week. If you did like it, I would really appreciate if you subscribed to the video, to my channel, liked the video, and please comment down below. I would love to get a dialogue started, okay? I hope you have a lovely day, and peace be with you.